Hey, Chris in Roxborough, Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and with the help of my GoPro camera, I'm going to show you how I cut Prescription's Transition 7 series gray lenses with Crizal Alizé for your RayBan 8411 color 2620 and the 54 eye size. Let me take everything out of the original packaging as RayBan sends it to me. This is your carbon fiber tech case with the checkerboard on there. Of course, your frame, which is the star of the hour, but your carbon fiber tech cleaning cloth, which has that same checkerboard on there. Hopefully you can see that through the elastic. Now, this is it, the star of the show, the carbon fiber tech. And of course it comes with a little plastic sleeve on the left temple to protect the temples from rubbing together during shipping, and I'm going to include all of that with you when I ship to you. But I'm taking it off for now. This is the frame, the 8411, I'm sorry, the color is 2620, which is the blue, but this carbon fiber, hopefully you can see, which is very light but very strong. It's actually 7 layers of carbon fiber technology. They cut it with water jets and then they epoxy the 7 layers together to make it very strong but very lightweight and flexible. So let me go ahead and begin. This one I'm going to do a little bit differently. This one, hang on, I got to put a sticker on the back. Clean up my mess here. Hang on. I'm making a good mess, aren't I? Put that on the back. Actually, I think I've already done it. Have I done it? Okay. Let's see. I need to, normally I would trace the frame, but this time these are semi-rimless, meaning that there's only a frame at the top. So I'm going to put 2 dots on there. I got to find a red pen. Come on, red pen. Where are y'all hiding at? Here's one. Here's one right now. So I'm using this graph that has several straight lines on there to give me a straight line. I hold it up to the light and then put a dot on one side of that line, and then I'm going to put a dot on the other. That looks good. Put the cap back on, and if you missed any of that, let me recap. Oh, I know that's bad humor, but you'll be telling it tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to pop the lens out, and I have this little stylus here. Let me get a new sticker. Spare no expense. Get a little sticker right there, pull that away. The black side is the sticky side. And now I'm going to take those 2 dots, and there is a line in the background. I'm going to use this to get everything lined up perfectly. And there we go. Everything looks perfect. I'm just going to hold it up to the light so I can check myself. Apologize if any of this is out of focus. I am a professional licensed optician. I'm not a professional cinematographer. But I'm going to put that in there. And I'm going to trace the right lens and hit start. And this little stylus is going to pop up, and it's going to go around and trace the outside of your lens. You'll see it pop up here in just a moment. That little stylus, pop, and it's going to go all the way around, tracing the shape of the right lens. That way it knows what shape lens to cut. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed in quality. You buy a genuine, authentic RayBan frame, and you will receive 1 free pair of clear single vision prescription lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses. It's actually asking me for the bridge size, which is 17. I'm going to put that in there now. But my receipt has my federal ID tax number on there, so if you have vision insurance or flex dollars, you will get reimbursed for this purchase, whether they are prescription lenses or not. If you just want a really cool pair of Geek Chic glasses and you got the insurance to pay for it, I can get you reimbursed for that money. But Chris, in your case, these are prescription. You need it. So your pupillary distance for your right eye is 34. My computer starts at 32.5. I'm going to hit this little plus button, and it's going to go in 0.5 millimeter increments till we get to 34. Now let me go down here, and I am going to get your lenses prepped. Your right eye reads -75, -75 at 115. -75, -75 at 115, which is exactly halfway between 110 and 120. I'm going to take your lens out of the protective sleeve that it comes in, and you actually have a little plastic laminate on the front of the lens to protect the lens while inside during shipping, so nothing rubs against the front of that. I'm just going to take that off, and with this being your right lens, let me go ahead and mark this one -75, -75, and right. This being your left lens reads -50, -75, -50, -75, and I will highlight that. There's two prescriptions written down because it can either be in plus cylinder or minus cylinder. Plus cylinder is an old school way of doing things. Everything today, they put the astigmatism correction on the rear surface, and that's what makes it a minus lens. But enough of old school theory. Put the power drum on minus 75. I'm going to put the power drum right there. Put your lens in. Actually, let me zero everything out, make sure the crosshairs of the scope are where they're supposed to be. Okay, put your lens in. I'm going to rotate it until the sphere power comes in clearly. Check your astigmatism correction. That looks good there. And I'm going to put 3 dots on your lens, which is too light for you to see here. So I'm going to darken them for you. 1, 2, and 3. And this is the right lens. Now let me do the same thing for the left lens. Minus 50, minus 75 at 70. Minus 50, minus 75 at 70. Turn the power drum to 70 there. Pull the lens out of the protective sleeve. Take the little protective laminate off the front. Put the power drum on minus 50. Put the lens in, rotate it until the sphere power comes in clearly, which is the minus 50 component of your lens. Check your astigmatism correction, which is the extra minus 75. And again, I'll explain what all that does in just a moment. Put 3 dots on your lenses. 1, 2, and 3. And this is not the right lens, so I'm going to put an L for not right, which is just like me. So let's take this down there, and we'll put the right lens onto the platform. Now this is a block. I like to call it Jenny from the block. I need to attach this to your lens while it is cutting, so I need to have a double-sided adhesive sticker, of which I've got a couple hanging right here. I think I can spare 2. Now the black side is the sticky side. That's how it can stick to my fingers. But I'm going to take a block, put the sticker on one side, set that down. Let's go ahead and do the second one. Pull the paper away to make the second side sticky. And this little silver button on the back is a magnet. It's going to do its job twice. The first time is to stick to the magnet that's inside here. And the reason why I put those 3 dots on there, your lens has to go in there just perfectly. It cannot be oriented any other way. It gets everything lined up. Where's my stylus? Once upon a time I had a stylus. Did I leave it down here? Okay, so I'm going to put those 3 dots right there. Now that blue cross is the geometric center of your frame. If you were to measure vertically and horizontally, that blue cross comes out right there. Now your right eye is just inset from there inside that little orange graph. So I'm going to put that dark dot right there in that center position. That is your optical center. Those other 2 dots on the outside give me a 180 meridian. At least it gives me a straight line on that graph and tells me that it's going in there perfectly. And I'm going to hit that button, and the arm is now going to apply the block to your right lens. Let's do the same thing for your left lens now. Let's pull the sticker away, make that side sticky, put the magnet in there so it holds. Now the pupillary distance for your left eye is 35. So it mirrored the right eye at 34. I'm going to hit the plus sign twice again, and now we end up at 35, going up in 0.5 millimeter increments. I'm going to put that center dot right where it's supposed to be, and we're actually getting closer to the geometric center of your frame, which if you had a very strong prescription, it would make your lenses automatically thinner, but you don't. You're going to have thin lenses anyway. But this would be wonderful if you did have a very strong prescription. The final product would look great. So again, let's see, the sticker is there. Hit the button, and now the block is applied to your left lens. Now this is the edger. This is what costs $40,000. It weighs 200 pounds. I recommend everybody go out and buy one. Put it on your kitchen counter, and then you can cut your own glasses at home. You won't need this kit anymore. But the actual cutting wheel is on the inside. It's the wheel on the far right that has that white residue. That is material that has been deposited on there. This is going to grind down your lens material to its the final size. And behind this wheel is a little knife blade that you can see right there. That's what's going to put the bevel onto your lens so it stays inside the frame. This whole video should take about 20 to 25 minutes, a little bit longer than most of my videos, but hopefully you'll be entertained along the way. The semi-rimless always take a little longer. Now the magnet here is going to do its job a second time. It's going to hold it in place into the chuck, or as I like to call it, the Charles, because I don't know the machine well enough to call it chuck. But I'm going to pull your shape up onto the computer. These are polycarbonate lenses, so I'm going to use the initials PC. If these were plastic Hindex or Trivex, I would use something else, but I'm going to keep it on that. This figure, if I'm doing a metal or plastic frame or a drill mount, we're going to cut a groove into it. That's why there's a notch. I do not want to polish your lenses, and I am going to put a light bevel on the front surface, the convex surface of the lens, and I'm going to put a heavier bevel on the rear concave surface of the lens. I'm going to hit the green arrow, which is start in every language. The door closes, the clamp shuts, and then the lens is going to be traced by 2 white styluses, making sure the lens is large enough to fit into the frame. It's going to go around tracing the shape of the right side of your frame. And then it's actually going to do it twice, measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to cut the bevel into the lens, so you have the least amount of edge thickness showing. It's going to be perfectly centered. I could move the bevel forward or backwards, but again, with your prescription, it's hardly going to do a thing. Now there is water flickering in the background. That's what the light is, as you can see. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry, where plastic and high-index plastic cut wet. The water will not be sprayed onto the lens until the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle, just to wash away any optical debris. So your lens has begun cutting. And again, your lenses are made by Essilor. Essilor calls polycarbonate lenses airwear because your lenses are light as air. Polycarbonate is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. Your lenses are virtually unbreakable. They are bulletproof up to 22 caliber and have both UVA and UVB protection built into the lens. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes that never needs to be reapplied, unlike lotions, creams, and sprays that need to be reapplied when you go outside every couple hours. Now, your lenses again are the TR, which stands for transitions, the Roman numeral for 7, transition 7 series. GY is gray. Now, the other feature you have with your lens you upgraded for is the Crizal Alizé coating. Crizal, well, anti-glare. Let me get a lens that does not have anti-glare. It's 3 features in one. The first feature is that it eliminates glare when driving at night, particularly driving at night in the rain, but also from street lights, stoplights, computer screens, overhead fluorescent lights, any type of light source. Now the second feature, it goes by it's an anti-reflective coating, so it gets the initials ARC. So when someone's looking at you, they're not looking at their reflection in your glasses, so it makes for much better eye contact. Plus, the #1 reason people get it, if you take a selfie or if someone else takes a picture of you with a flash, you don't see the flash lit up in the lens. Now that is a cosmetic feature, but you will absolutely no doubt see better with that coating. Now the third feature that I like, the practical side of me, is it comes with the hardest scratch coating in the business. The Crizal brand, Crizal Alizé, the Crizal anti-glare method takes, and if you notice, that little blade has popped up and it's cutting the groove into your lens, so it stays inside with that 20-pound monofilament test line. But the machine that applies the Crizal anti-glare coating costs well over $1 million. It takes well over 24 hours to apply that coating to your lens. It's actually 7 different layers that they vaporize onto the lens. And because of the time and the expense of what it takes to apply the Crizal anti-glare, they put the industry's most premium scratch coating over the lens to protect their time and their investment. Yeah, all seeing is getting light to the eyes. The more light, the better. That coating allows all the beneficial light to come in while eliminating all of the harmful glare. So this is the best lens you can get. Of course, this frame sells for $230, and it comes with 1 free pair of free prescription lenses when you buy the frame. You upgraded the $50 to the Transitions gray lenses and another $40 for the Crizal anti-glare, for a total of $320, which a lot of people sell just the lens for $320. The Transition lenses with Crizal, all you're doing is paying $90 for that, which is my cost. Again, my hook is you buy the frame and you get free lenses, and if I can't give you the add-ons for free, then you're going to get them at my cost. Just a way of me showing appreciation for buying a frame from me. So water has begun to kick in, and it was still on the grinding wheel just to remove any roughness left over from the cutting cycle or the grooving cycle. Now the water sprays on there just to wash away any optical debris. So again, the arm's going to come out, but at the end of that one wheel is a little wheel that looks like something you'd find on a Dremel tool. That's applying the safety bevel to the front surface, the convex surface of your lens, before moving over and applying the safety bevel, which is just smoothing out any rough edges, again, left over from the cutting and grooving cycle. So it's done the convex side, and now it's going to do the concave side. And that concludes your vocabulary lesson of the day. Actually, I lied. There's one more word. If you can see, and when it comes out, there may be a little bit of white residue, a little optical sawdust around the edge of your lens. That is called schwarf. I will use my thumbnail to remove any of the schwarf that may be on the lens. Now, I will open the door with my mind. You like that, did you? Hit the button to take it out of the chuck. I can do other things with my mind. I can melt ice with my mind. I can. It just takes a couple hours, but I can do it. Okay, again, I'm going to run my thumbnail around just to remove any of that. You see that? That is optical debris, optical sawdust, if you will. I'm going to use my thumbnail to remove it very carefully and very neatly. I collect it all into one pile onto the counter. And once it is collected into one pile, I throw it on the floor. Because, hey, the clown gets to have fun while he's at work too, you know. It's not all serious business. Plus, it tricks people. When they come over and they see sawdust on the floor, it makes them think you've been working. That's how I fool people. So, okay, so your right lens is done. I'm going to take it. I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner. Now, this is what everyone wants to know. You got to have the right tool for the job. That tool, a little piece of ribbon for wrapping presents. How nice is that? Usually it's something expensive. Not this time. So I'm going to tuck the lens in. You actually have a little bit of a groove going along the inside of your frame that's married to the groove here in the lens. So I'm going to tuck everything in, get it lined up where it's supposed to go. I'm going to take that ribbon, I fold it in half so I can grab both sides, but I'm going to grab the string. Now that I can grab on both sides, I start at the outside corner, following the groove, and when you hear the snap, that means that it's in there. I put this finger on top of the string, slide the ribbon out, and we are done. So let me go ahead and put the left lens into the chuck. Again, as I call it, the Charles, the Chucky baby, the Charlie. Flip that over to L, which stands for not right in Latin. I think, I never took Latin. Hit the green button. The door closes. I can't close the door with my mind. I can only open it with my mind. The clamp shuts, and then the lens is going to go and be traced by two white styluses, measuring the shape of the left side of the frame this time as it goes around, and again measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel so you have the least amount of edge thickness whatsoever for the best cosmetic look possible with this frame. So the cutting wheel is started up, it is moved over, and in just a moment your left lens will touch down onto the cutting wheel. Now it's actually going very slowly. I cut the anti-glare lenses on the soft cycle just so they do not slip while in the chuck. So I can go ahead and take this block off, set that down. I'm going to go over here back to my Marco 101 lensometer to inspect your right lens, which is -75, -75 at 115. I'm going to spin the axis wheel back to 115. I'm going to put it in over this red dot there, your optical center, which is going to be directly in front of your pupil. And when I read the prescription, I am getting -75. Minus is in the red, starting at 0, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1. We are one tick mark away from 1. The unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter. That is spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. It starts at 0, which we in the business call Plano. Everyone else calls it a city in Texas. But again, starting at 0, goes up in quarter increments, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, and so on. So you need 3 steps of correction in your right eye, the spherical component, for your nearsightedness. for your farsightedness, because you are actually nearsighted. With your glasses off, you can see up close wonderfully, but you need 3 steps of minification, the opposite of magnification. That's why there's a minus sign. Without your glasses on, everything is much too large far away, so this will shrink things down to the correct size. Now, after it's the correct size, you have 3 steps of additional astigmatism correction. Now, there is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. It's like saying someone else has straight hair, someone else has curly hair. That is it. You don't freak out when you hear that. It is not a disease. It is not an affliction, but everyone freaks out over the word astigmatism. I don't know why. This first number makes everything the correct size. Astigmatism is what makes 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P and F. This is what causes you to squint. When you squint, you change the shape of your eye, and that's what it is. It's a different shape. Now think of this as the fine-tune knob. We're going to turn that fine-tune knob to 115. A straight line, like the top of this card, is 0 at one side to 180 at the other, with 90 in the middle. 0, 90, 180, 270 for those of you keeping score at home. So we're going to turn the fine-tune knob past 90 to about the 115 meridian. Now your left eye, you only need 2 steps of correction for your farsightedness, but you still need an additional 3 steps of astigmatism correction, and we're going to turn that knob to 70. And starting at 0, we're going to turn it and we're going to stop just before we get to 90. Now these first 2 numbers are real values to be concerned with. This last number could be anywhere from 0 to 180, and it really doesn't mean much. I am only concerned with the first 2 numbers. Now again, we're at minus 75, which is the spherical component. I'm going to turn the knob another 3 steps, and we're at minus 1.5. We're exactly halfway between 1 and 2. Hopefully you can see that on there. Do you remember high school algebra where you add the 2 like signs together? Yeah, no one does, not even me. But let's use today's terms. If someone had borrowed 75 cents from you and then they borrowed another 75 cents from you, they would owe you 1.5, 150 in the red. So that's where we're at. Again, at 115. So we're done there. I'm going to go ahead and turn the axis wheel to 70 for your left eye, and we'll be ready when that comes out. How is that lens doing? Come on, lens. Come on, lens. I'm busy. I got work to do. Again, water has kicked in, which tells me it's on the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle. Polycarbonate only gets wet for the last 20 seconds just to wash away that schwarf, which is a fancy word for sawdust, optical sawdust. And when I first heard the word schwarf, I raised my hand in class in college and called BS. And my teacher quickly pointed out how I had not been reading my textbooks because when I opened it back up, I saw that word. Damn, I hate when I tell on myself. It just seems like a made-up word, like, may the schwarf be with you, for any Mel Brooks fans out there from Spaceballs. Yes, I like to quote fine, fine movies. A movie like that makes you closer to your mother and makes you love your dad. Am I right? Who's with me on this one? Okay, get ready. I'm going to open the door with my mind. You like that, do you? Okay. Let me hit the button. Remind you, I am a professional licensed optician here in North Carolina. Do not try this at home. So, let me go ahead and, of course, I don't need this block anymore. Let me go ahead and pull that block off. Break that suction. Use my finger to collect all that schwarf. Look at that. I love it when it comes off in one piece. That's like when you clean the dryer vent and it all comes off in one piece. You know it's a good day then, when all the lint comes off at one time. You don't have to sit there and scrape through it. So everyone else's life is boring as mine. Okay, so that's that. Where's this? Here we go. Let me take out your original demo lens, one of which says RayBan on there. And of course, you're going to get all the manufacturer's original packaging. You're going to get these packages so you know that you're getting the Essilor brand transition lenses with Crizal Alizé. These are the Transitions Signature 7 Series gray lens. So let's go ahead and tuck that into the groove at the top of the frame. Grab my very expensive high-tech tool. That's why I have to charge you what I do because, you know, I gotta pay for my tools. I can't wait for UPS to bring me another package where I cut the tape off, or whatever this is, the ribbon. So again, I started the outside corner, get it started there, move my way towards the nose, and when you hear the snap, either the frame broke. I'm just kidding, I'm kidding. The frame didn't break. I shouldn't joke with stuff like that. Put my finger on it. Not this finger, not that finger, not this finger, but this finger. I'm gonna put this finger right there, slide that out. You like that, do you? I hope you do, or else you're gonna hunt me down. Did I get that in the right place? No, let me reposition it. Now it's in the right place. So, where'd my flashlight go? You know, I've got a smaller flashlight, I just can't find it. Okay, so again, we're on 70. I'm gonna put this in, move it around until I find the optical center. There we go. And I'm getting, hey, what do you know, minus 50, exactly halfway between 0 and 1. You have 3 steps of astigmatism correction. I'm gonna check that, and we end up with 1 1/4, just 1 tick mark away from 1 tick mark away from 1 1/2. So that is made correctly. I do want to put a dot on your lens that got rinsed off. Let me darken that so you can see. So that is all made correctly. Now your pupillary distance, 34 for your right eye, 35 for your left, for a combined value of 69. I'm going to turn the card around, place my PD stick against my thumb on your right lens, and when I hold that up there, we're getting 69 millimeters, so that is made perfectly. Now this is the point in every video that as I clean your lens, and I mentioned that when you get these in the mail, and of course free shipping anywhere in the United States, but when you get these in the mail, there's a very small chance that this frame could either sit too loosely or too tight. Now, I was about to say tightly. I don't think that's a real word. However, there's a serious 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That is because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other. And because of that statistic, 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. So just stop by your local optical shop should you ever need to get them adjusted. But I'm going to get them in standard alignment first, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the lenses being 3. I set it on the counter and press down, and there is no wobble. When I say wobble, I'm part of that 80%. When I take mine off and press down, they wobble on the counter, but they sit level on me, yo. Gotta put them back on so I can see what I can do. Flip them over, press down, there is no wobble, close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly. Hopefully the camera's picking up this wonderful carbon fiber tech that's on there. Yeah, just make sure they're lined up perfectly, they're not askew in any way. Check the tension on there, each screw is, the tension on each hinge is perfect. Now, Chris, this is what your lenses look like while they're clear. I'm going to go ahead and expose them to a strong burst of ultraviolet light to show you your transition lenses as they darken. I have a little box for that in the corner here. Now, as you can see, it takes about 30 to 45 seconds for transition lenses to darken when they get exposed to the sun. It takes a little bit longer when you come back inside, about 45 seconds to a minute 15. Now, Chris, pay attention now. This is important. All transition lenses will get dark the first day you expose them. They're going to continue to darken every day for the first 2 weeks, providing they get exposed to the sun, until they reach their final hue. After that, they will work for years with maximum performance. The only time they will not work is if you're behind the windshield in a car. Your windshield absorbs all the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays, so that's why your upholstery doesn't rot or your dashboard does not crack from sitting in the sun all day. Now, if you have a convertible or a motorcycle, they will darken, just not inside of a vehicle. Now, as soon as you get out of the vehicle, they will darken. Now, if you have, what was I going to say? Oh, they're temperature sensitive, meaning when it's 80 and 90 degrees and below, they get darker than they do when it's over 100 degrees. I remind everyone that when it's in triple digits, you're miserable, they're miserable. Nobody likes to work 100% when it's 100 degrees outside. So that is the first time they have been darkened or exposed to UV. And again, they will get much, much darker than this. Come on, Chris, remember, we talked about this. Don't you remember? So that's it. If anyone has any questions about what I can or can't do, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. Chris and Roxbar, I hope you enjoyed watching as I cut prescription transitions gray lenses with Crizal anti-glare for your RayBan 8411, color 2620 in the 54 eye size. And everyone else got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.